Welcome to the channel, Think, Build, Test. Today, we're going to be testing a product.
Today is the day I'm making a change, building things different, making things better.
I know a lot of you razor guys have been wondering, can I get away with doing a cheap clutch off of Amazon? And are they any good? So I did a little research and tested all the reviews off of Amazon, and out of the ones that I could find, I came across this one here. It's from Amped FX Mother Clutcher.
Mother Clutcher.
So where I'm at, I'm at a place where you all have found yourselves razors and clutches and getting wore out. I've rebuilt this clutch once already. Redid all the pins, bushings, and bearings, and they wore out at about 1,500 miles. And I rebuilt them, and when I did, I put an EPI big tire kit on, springs, and with the back shift for my secondary. So then at about 2,000 miles, I don't know if you can see this, but right there, my tower broke and basically made all my new parts about as worthless as what they weigh. So anyway, I'm stuck at, do I pay $1,800 for an aftermarket clutch? Do I pay $700 for a clutch that may only get me another 2,000 miles? Or I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm going with the Amazon clutch. About $300 for a fully built clutch, internals and all. So let's see what this thing looks like. As you can see, it has the spring in there. It's got the weights. It's got the bearing. Feels like it's a two-way bearing. And here's the original. Everything looks pretty good. And possibly aesthetically, this one looks maybe a little better. There's a little more machining touch-up. One thing I've noticed is that where all the casting lines are, they ground down all the sharp points, which is a sign of somebody who might know what they're doing. So this is the Amped FX off of Amazon, and came in the box, Mother Clutcher. Another thing I wanted to try out was this Eastlake clutch puller for the XP1000. There were a lot of clutch pullers that are upwards around $100. I think this one was around $30. They also had some $20 ones, but reading through the comments and stuff, this one said it had hardened steel, so I wanted to check it out. So anyways, I've already used this to pull off the primary, so I have this here for comparison to talk to y'all, and it worked good. There's no bends, no bows, and yeah, that worked out pretty good. So anyways, we're gonna go get this thing put on and do a couple of test runs with just the springs and weights that came on with it. I'll probably have to change these out because I've already got the shift plate for the back end, but I just wanted to be able to say, hey, stock without me messing with it. Was it any good? I have the puller inserted in here. I scrunched my suspension down a little bit to give me a little clearance past my spring. There's two pulls on it. No bends. Everything looks really good. We went and took it out for a ride, and we didn't get shrapnel out of this thing so far. So that's good. And you've seen us using the Eastlake puller, and it worked good again. Still no bends. So that's good. I'm happy with that. That was a good purchase. It seems to be hardened steel. That's a keeper. So verified. Good. All right. So one thing I noticed when I was out riding in the field is that my RPMs are getting too high, which, like I said, I have an aftermarket kit on my secondary. So that was wanting my primary to engage a little faster. So I'm gonna have to go and got myself some new EPI weights. And this time, since tomorrow we're gonna go bumping some rocks, I went ahead and got the spring that they recommended for rock crawling. So that should be something I can swap out. And then I'll have their big tire spring for when I'm just going a little faster, and this should work good for my paddle tires in the dunes. So I'm gonna get this swapped out and maybe get some footage tomorrow out on the trails for you guys to check out. So we'll see you in a minute. So this is using the East Lake clutch puller. This is the third time using it. We're gonna pull this off so that you guys can get a review how it was after I abused it last weekend on the trails. One thing I've noticed on some of the reviews of the other branded cheap clutches is that it'll shear off right down here where this plate is. This fin has, if it's poorly made, will shear this off. And most people say that it happens within about 100 miles. Well, we bumped some pretty big rocks and we had this thing squeaking a couple of times trying to get up some ledges. So if you want to see that video, then take a look right up there at the tagline and we'll have a video of it riding on our core channel. Let's take this over to the bench. And I want to take a look at the weights to make sure the bushings held up good. As the centrifugal force gets going, it causes these weights to come out and roll on that roller, which causes this to contract and push up and out on the belt. So this roller right here, roller number 1, is spinning very freely, and there's no evidence of the clutch getting caught on the shaft or this getting too much sand in it and getting gritting or the bearing failing. So this is moving really smooth. There's no damage on the first one. So let's flip it over and we'll show you the other two. Okay, same thing here. No noticeable damage, no grooves. And this is rolling freely. That's the second one. Here comes the third one. No noticeable grooves. It is rolling freely. So another place that we can check is the tower wear to see if they're pucks. If they're intact, these two pucks look good. And tower just has minimal wear, no grooves. Tower, pucks look good. And then our third set, pucks look good. The towers don't have any indentions or grooves. The problem that I had when I first got my machine is a brand new machine, and at about 1,400 miles, the first clutch failed. So I just replaced the weights. They had a groove there. These got some grit in them and locked up, but also these towers were starting to get wear in them. So I should have replaced the whole clutch at that time, but I didn't. I just bought a rebuild kit and rebuilt them, and there was so much play in here that these little pucks, they shattered in there after another 400 or 500 miles. So this is a really good investment because the replacement pucks and bearings and weights, I spent about $200 just on that, and this whole assembly was $300. So after the wear that I put it through, and I would consider that to be one of the hardest things, is when the tires don't spin and that belt gets to squealing because you're bumping a rock. That's what's really going to torque on this and cause it to break loose. So would I recommend this clutch? If it lasts me 1,500 miles and it's half the price of just the stock castings, then yes, so far I would. Now, like I said, the other brands that I saw had negative reviews, but this is the Mother Clutcher from Amped FX. If you like this review, check out some of our other videos. This is a concept channel, so if you want to check out, I have built a trailer. You may have seen that, maybe that's why you're here. And we take some trips, and we're working on some jack projects right now. Lots of things coming up, and you know, maybe they'll just help you to get some ideas on projects you've been thinking about or products you've been thinking about, and maybe just help you flip a switch. This is going to be a wrap on the Mother Clutcher review and the Lakewood pulling tool. And also, I just wanted to note that on my EPI kit, that rock spring that I put in helped a ton from just the standard kit. So I would recommend that if you're bumping rocks, to go ahead and get the rock kit if you're going with EPI. All right, YouTube, we'll catch you next time on the next review.
Don't do that.